A while ago, someone asked me to make a video about the future of film. It's not really the future of film. I mean, there's going to be a rather misleading title I've used, like digital versus film. But fundamentally, when you look at it, to me, digital and film are very like, I don't know how to explain it. There's lots of analogies about the two things. It's like film is like a real piano, and digital is like a synthesizer that can recreate the real piano nearly perfectly. So they're incredibly close. I mean, I think that film has a thriving future, to tell you the truth. I mean, we've just had Ilford, and they've just introduced a brand new colour film, which is the first colour film I can remember in quite some time. I mean, a lot of us, like myself, came up shooting film, and obviously all the stuff that we saw in the cinemas was shot on film. So my generation and quite a few people, just that's all we knew. So when we transitioned to digital, it was quite tricky because early digital cameras weren't anywhere near the reproductive quality of film. Today they are. Today, with digital cameras and some post production, you really can get close or the same as the look of film. So let's just talk about, I mean, the genesis of film. It's sort of, obviously it's been around for 100 years. Oscar Barnack and Leica gave us a 35mm format. It exploded into all these other formats, medium format, all these kind of things, and went on. And then obviously, I think it was Kodak shot themselves in the foot and invented the Bayer sensor or something like that. And then we had the world of digital. And there's always been a bit of tension, especially generated by the film industry, about shooting digitally and shooting film. And then obviously, there's still hundreds of thousands of film cameras out there on eBay and stuff that you can access. So it's a bit of a swirling thing. And I actually think now, looking at the world as we are, that the two mediums can perfectly coexist together, and they're very different. I've stood on sets and watched people fire away with the digital camera. They're not really, they just press the shutter and they've just fired tons of shots. And there's a discipline with film that you really need to adhere to that you don't get with digital. With digital, you could just press the button, shoot it, and if you got it wrong, you delete it. When you put a roll of film into a camera, you've got 36 frames, and that's it. And you can't see it. You can't have a look and check what you've got. You have to wait. So you can see it's very, very different sort of discipline involved with it. You really have to take time. And I think this is the thing that has attracted another generation to film, the fact that it's more about taking your time and sort of much more tactile. Film cameras are beautiful things to hold, and yeah, so it's sort of much more considered film photography than digital photography, where you can just do what you want, delete it, do it again, delete it. There's no thing there, is there? I mean, there is a great sensation, and I know many people who shoot film, like myself, still love it, where you drop your film cans off to get them developed, or you develop it at home, and you've got that whole thing of what you've got, there's no immediacy to it, what you've created, and you get to see it. And obviously, film has attributes, and I think most digital cameras can't get the attributes of film straight off the bat. You have to post produce to get it to look like film. Film's got main core components to its look. It's got a color matrix, which is the color of it. It's got blue. It's got halation. It's got motion picture. It's got gate weave. You've got grain. You've got all these different things, and you have to overlay those effects to make a digital picture match up to a film picture. But it is doable, and you can see with the motion picture industry, they've got really good at it. So you can't tell sometimes. I mean, there is a major cheat. We've done it in commercials years ago, where you shoot digital and then you just literally scan it back out to film. It's called a film out. So your footage looks like it's got the grain. It's like the biggest film plugin on the planet, because you're literally scanning it out to film, then you scan it back in again, and it's gone to film. A bit of a cheat, that. But I mean, it's expensive if it's more than a commercial. But yeah, I think actually June, they did this with June, I believe, recently. They actually shot it digitally and then did a film out with it to give it that look. But yeah, I mean, film's organic. It's not organic, a chemical process, and digital isn't. So obviously, with a chemical process, you're going to get happy mistakes and things you can't predict. So I mean, there is that element of unpredictability with film that you can't get with digital. Digital will just literally, those pixels will fire. That is what you're going to get. There's all mathematics and tolerances and everything involved with those things. So as for the fact that film versus digital. As I said earlier, I think very much think that the two disciplines can coexist. I mean, I like shooting digital and I like shooting film. I think the future of the film industry is very healthy. I think the more people that pick up film cameras, play with them, and they realise how different photography is with a film camera to an iPhone, it's a whole different thing. Uh, and understand it, you learn more about photography, I believe, with a film camera than you do with an iPhone. It does it all for you. Press a button, it's done the shutter, it's done everything. Pick up a roll of film, put it into I don't know, an Olympus OM2. It's got aperture priority, but then you start, because of all the knobs and dials in it, you start to get more interested in what you're doing, and you start to take a lot more attention because you've taken that shot, but you still won't see it for a week until it comes back from the developer. And then the other thing that I think film has very much over digital is the fact you've got different film stocks. So you've got wonderful range of black and white films you can choose. Colours are a bit more limited. You've got slide film, and all these things give different looks, different effects. Whereas with digital, yeah, you can stick a look over the top, but it's not quite the same, and it doesn't quite work. You've got other chemical processes. You can cross-process slide film. You can cross-process it, and you can basically create a whole different look. And then you've got, now that we're doing a lot of this, is shooting motion picture film through film cameras. I mean, you develop it with a EC2N process, or you can develop it with what's called C41, and that gives you different looks. That gives you different textures, different things. Digital, again, you can emulate all this, but it's a ball ache, it's a pain. You have to sit down. You can buy a load of things that help you, but like, have you ever noticed when you buy those LUTs and stuff that you drop over the top, it doesn't quite look right? I mean, I think one of the big things for me was I do a lot of colour work, and I was, years ago, when I got back into doing film again, I was trying to emulate a particular look for a picture, and I literally thought, well, I might as well just go and buy some. So I bought some Kodak 250D, shot it, got it developed, and that's what it looked like. And I was struggling. Why don't I just shoot the picture with the film in the first place? I was struggling in like a Photoshop or whatever to make it look filmic. So yeah, you've got that as well. But yeah, as for the future, I think they're both fine. I think that digital to digital, and it'll carry on getting better and better and better, and then with AI and computational photography, it will just get better. But the thing is, I think it's more about feeling with film, and you've got wonderful hardware, beautiful cameras. I think they look gorgeous, don't they? I mean, no digital camera, even though they're trying with, like, Nikon's got one which is based on the FE2 or FE, and there's been a couple, and I think the Fuji X100s were based on the old rangefinder, that rangefinder look. They are beautiful cameras, but they're never really going to get close to what holding a film camera is like, cranking the film crank, and that whole tactile process. So yeah, I don't think there is a film versus digital. I think it's more like film and digital, and I think they can coexist, and I think they can coexist really well. And if you're just a pure digital photographer and you're watching this, or filmmaker, I highly recommend getting a film camera, shoot some film. And for filming, get Super 16, rent a Super 16 camera, shoot on Super 16, or even Super 8, or even Super 35 if you can afford it. And basically just see what you can get and play. You'll learn so much about exposure, about lighting and things like that, because you can't repeat it. There was an interview with an actor once, and I can't remember what TV program, it might be Graham Norton or something. And he said, we were shooting film, so we had to really take it seriously. And there you go. You can't just turn over and turn over and turn over with film. It is nice to see that Chris Nolan's and people like that are still shooting film. I mean, if you look at Oppenheimer, they created a brand new black and white stock to shoot some of those scenes, and he's shooting IMAX. It's crazy, man. It's brilliant though, and beautiful colour pictures. Dunkirk, phenomenal. Shot on film, and I think J.J. Abrams and some others still shoot it. But no, I mean, it's still a life in the motion pictures industry, and those directors who support it, that breathes life lower down for it to survive for photography. So yeah, but no, I would seriously give both a go. And I mean, and I think you get enamored by film. It's one of those things where you've got 36 frames, that's all you got, and you don't know if you've got it. You'd really need to pay attention to what you're doing. And digital, the camera just does most of it for you, doesn't it? So it's not really a rewarding process to me. You know, auto ISO, auto balance. You could switch it all to manual, but what's the point? I think they're just different tools, aren't they? But yeah, so there you go. Film versus digital. Not really. They're both wonderful, wonderful things to shoot with and create images with. So try and embrace both. Don't get pushed away by one or the other. Go and shoot some film. You won't regret it. Anyway, thanks for watching.